I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Marty Vids. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I'm doing fantastic, Angel. The sun is shining. I'm in the Sunshine Coast in Australia. They say it's beautiful one day, perfect the next, but that's a lie because it's really a lot better than that.
Love it. It's so good to know. I think that's probably where the energy comes from. Having someone that's in the sunshine connecting to me while it's time for me to be in my bed. It definitely helps you go on.
Yeah, you're winding down. I'm ramping up.
Yeah. It's pretty fascinating. Marty, please do tell us which of your talents is responsible for us connecting.
Well, I'm a podcast host of the Marty Vids Show, and I interview interesting people doing remarkable things, much like yourself. And I've been very fortunate to build 3 award-winning businesses in Australia in the field of mortgage broking. So really, I'm a business builder, a personal and business development mentor. That's been my history.
Wow, that's great. Now, I'm looking at your icon, your logo here, right? Could you explain that for me? I'm seeing the M. I'm seeing like 1, 2, 3. It's like 6 different pieces that are making up the M. Does that go deeper than that, or is it just what it is?
Yeah, it's an interconnectedness because with everyone as an individual, we all have our individual parts, and bringing those parts together can be something remarkable, not only for me as an individual, but for you or your audience. And it's just tapping into that remarkability. It's holistically putting the pieces together and really, tapping into that and putting that out in the world.
Yeah, looks good. Yeah, it's scary though. It's like, don't walk into this. It's strong. It's confident, if you would. I like that. So who did you learn the skill of? Let's do podcasting first. Who did you learn that skill from?
Well, I was inspired by people like Tim Ferriss and JLD from Entrepreneur on Fire. I'd listen to them in the car, and I had a lady by the name of Kai Furneaux, who was a world champion stunt double that I met. And I said, I'm thinking about doing this podcast thing. And she said to me, well, if you do it, I'll be your first guest.
Wow.
So I had to do it, and I was interested, and I thought, what a great way to get your message out to the world. It's so different to being in a traditional business in a certain area. So that was the inspiration, was probably Tim Ferriss initially, and then JLD, and now a number of different podcasters, including yourself, Angel.
Yeah, I appreciate that tremendously. Now tell us about the skill of business. Who did you learn that from?
Well, that's an interesting combination because I played chess as a young boy, and that was from my grandfather. And he said it was always important for me to be able to think 3-4 moves ahead. So he was very strategic. Also comedy. I did stand-up comedy as a young person. I was very inspired by Robin Williams. So that was great from a confidence point of view because I was introverted and I wanted to put myself into a challenging environment to really test myself and be responsive with audiences. So that was brilliant. And business, I learnt from working in a milk bar from the age of 7. I'd wake up with my father at 6 o'clock in the morning, probably even a little bit earlier. Wow. And we'd go and pick up the newspapers. And then I would say sport. That's where my determination and resilience comes from, because it's not so much that I always like to win, but I definitely don't like losing. So that combination really epitomizes who I am as a person and who's inspired me.
That's awesome. Love it. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. I appreciate you connecting the dots all through your life too. It definitely creates a platform for you to move forward stronger, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And it's good to know where you've come from as a foundation and how you're going to expand that over your life. So very important, those foundational influences.
Totally agree. Now, definitely you've seen the foundation and you've changed a few things, right? You've made some enhancements, if you would, moving from an introvert to doing things that are extroverted. I'd like to know why you will continue to move forward with these skills.
Well, Angel, I love people and business. And I think that just comes down to socially enjoying adding value in life. And that's really what I love. I love working with progressive and motivated people that want to create great experiences for other people as well. So that's really my driver at the end of the day of what I like to put out in the world and how I like to share that with various communities of people.
Where's the best place for people to connect with you? I'm sure there are people that resonate with your story already. Point them to somewhere, please.
Well, I think that I really want to get people to take action. And I would say, I set myself 40-day challenges. Like I did yoga just recently for 40 days in a row to test myself in something I haven't done before. But even nowadays, I let people come and join me and do that with me because I love that collaborative spirit. And yeah, if anyone wants to try something new, just hook up, because that's what I'm all about. Just immersing myself in taking action in things I'm interested in, which gives me, a level of curiosity, and it also upskills myself as well.
Wonderful. Now, will LinkedIn be the best place for them to go to look you up? Or
LinkedIn,
okay.
or the Marty Vids.
.au.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the best place.
Wonderful. Well, tell me one other thing, Marty, that you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
I think I've been able to take, as I'm now 45, and whoa. I think from 42 to 45, what I've got better at is taking action on my intuition. So it might not always make logical sense, but there are certain things. And one example was I was in a major city at 42 years of age, and I was stuck in traffic, and I was complaining about the traffic because I was in there for about 30 minutes. And I said to myself, well, I am the traffic. I have control of this. I don't have to be here if I don't want to. And I always loved the Sunshine Coast, and we had a young child. And I thought, you know what? I know the business is doing really well, but something is guiding me. My intuition's guiding me towards this other place. And I've been able to really tap into that feeling and act on that. Whereas in the past, I would probably be acting more logically on things. And I think that's what I've done really well over the last 3 years. And that's been really life-changing.
How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel a sense of freedom. And it really puts the steering wheel back in my hands in many ways, that I can take my life to wherever I want to go. So instead of feeling, and it wasn't like I've always run businesses before and been happy doing that, but you kind of fall into patterns of behavior where you almost become a commodity. So you have to be really intuitive and really listening to your inner voice. Sometimes you have wisdom, and I always say if you have that wisdom, say it out loud so you can hear that inner wisdom, and it's a great guide to you. And that that's really made such a difference and given me a sense of accomplishment to be able to act on that intuition. So, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Love it. Well, amazing audience. We are live with Marty Vids. Again, he is the podcast host of the Marty Vids Show. Do check him out. Connect with him. He's available on LinkedIn or martyvids.com.au. And he has the 40-day challenges going on, right? Marty, let's switch gears for a moment now, and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Marty, what is your earliest childhood memory?
The childhood memory that comes to mind is my grandmother. And the reason why is at Christmas time, my grandmother would scare me every Christmas. So instead of the usual Santa suit, she would have like a brown paper bag with sharp teeth. And instead of those white fluffy beards, she'd have those curly steel cloths that you clean the frying pan with. And it was, and this red cloak. And it was just absolutely terrifying. When Santa came to town, I wanted to leave town, and every picture of me at Christmas time was this young boy with a horrified, scared look on his face. So that was really challenging because you still wanted the present, but you didn't want your hand bitten off by this monster. So I think in hindsight, it probably I mean, she's a loving woman. I love my grandmother more than anyone in the world. And but there was something in that in regards to, if you really want something, you have to move through your own fear. So I think I got that lesson pretty quickly.
So how old were you back then?
6 years springs to mind.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
6 years of age.
That's intriguing. Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Absolutely.
Sometimes love looks like something else. In life, sometimes we think that love would look like this, and you expressed it even while being in traffic. But it really comes up to your decision to get the thing you want in a different place. And it's really a decision, right? So at that point in time, the one place to get that present was from your grandmother, and boy, was it scary. But it's intriguing that you've learned that there are different places you can get that gift, and you do not need to go through the terror or the scare that is necessary, or could seem necessary, if you would. So I'm fascinated by how it connects, in that you're the guy that did that, and now you're helping other people get that, right, with the 40-day challenge, right, to understand that there are different ways that you can get things without going through that scare.
I could not have said that better myself. That was beautifully put. And again, my grandmother has great love for me, and vice versa, as I do for other people. And again, it's a shift of perception, because once you understand who was underneath that bag, you really knew that it wasn't too bad. You just had to discover it.
Yeah. I have a friend that believes in this type of teaching, and he says that, well, it's country, right? It's a country style. Like my grandfather did the same thing. He had the mask face, and he would scare you. And but I think it's really an amazing way to teach, because I'm guessing the psychologists will say something different, but it's just, hey, it's old school, but it works. It takes a lot to scare me now, right?
Yeah, and me too. It's and I think that's it is a different way of learning, but it's really building survival skills and resources, and
exactly.
There's so many additional benefits that you now look back on and you go, you're grateful. You're very grateful for that teaching.
Yeah. If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
Well, it's an Australian singer, Jimmy Barnes, right. And the song's called Ain't No Second Prize, which I was 12 years old, 1984 it was, and I would listen to that song before I go and play cricket, because it was just a great motivating song to, make a 50 at that stage. You couldn't make 100 yet in under 12s. But that Ain't No Second Prize from Jimmy Barnes. Great Aussie singer.
Love it. It definitely connects, right? Because, hey, even with your grandmother, ain't no second prize. If you had to get that, you had to come through her, right?
Absolutely. I'm glad she didn't sing it.
Well, Marty, we've arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Sure.
Marty, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes, I have. My son.
Are you married?
Yes, to the beautiful Colleen Vids, Mrs. Vids, the love of my life.
There we go. CV. She is his official resume.
Absolutely.
Do you believe in God?
I'm a humanist. So I grew up a Catholic. So what I do is I believe in people. Because I would never want to judge someone for their beliefs. So if someone's a Catholic, Christian, or Muslim, I understand that is absolutely pertinent in their life. So I would never judge anyone based on that, because it adds value to them. And I haven't lived their life. So really I come back to being a humanist and accepting of all people.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes, I do. Probably about 4 or 5 that are really close. But I have a lot of friends that are associates, but probably 4 or 5 that are really close.
What about TV? Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day or 3 hours a week?
Definitely over 3 hours a week. Probably maybe a couple of hours a day at the end of the day.
Yeah. What about screen time? The phone and or the computer, is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
I would say less than 8 hours a day.
That's good. All right. Well, Marty, after 1,001 conversations in 2016 in 3 months, right? I came up with this workbook thereafter, called it Yours, stands for Your Own Unique Real Self. And I just got caught in the fascination of naming that, right? It's really fascinating how that name came and writing, like just penning that book, the workbook. But that being said, the idea was you answer questions just like these, similar to these, and then you uncover your own unique career statement, which I believe is close to your mission. If you, Marty, had to share with us your own unique career statement, a statement that represents Marty Vids, what would you say that is?
You don't earn a living, you are living. So make it count.
Love it.
And that, again, you've already won the prize by being here. So it's really just focusing on what you want to do with this incredible life you have and being committed to that as well and sharing your talents and skills with people that can benefit. And yeah, that's my mission.
Love it. Marty Vids, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I would just say back yourself, and if you want to come on the 40-day challenge with me, come on board. I'd love to have you on board, and we can all take action together to inspire others. I want to inspire and impact 1 million people by doing something they love to do for 40 minutes a day for 40 days straight. They will tap into their remarkable and their life will change.
Love it. Marty Vids, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you, Angel. Take care.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.